Shalawama to the house of Yasharala. All Genesis chapter 2, men and women, Islam and Shalawama. This message is for you. I am Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Our major service, what we do, excuse me, above and beyond anything else, and the way that I see what I see and present what I present is based upon my understanding of the Ancient Ibaryath, okay? So I've been saying that in recent videos. There's interest, a lot of interest in astrotheology, cosmology, and the esoteric Gospels or New Testament. But one of my major concerns is that the shininess of that, I guess, the bells and whistles, the mystery factor will overshadow the Ancient Ibaryath, and that's something that I don't want to happen. I'm able to see what I see, reach the conclusions that I reach because of my skills in Ancient Ibaryath, because of my ability to look underneath the English and to understand etymology and grammar rules and how those things can be manipulated. And yes, etymology can be manipulated. I have shown it many, many times, especially in the Strong's lexicon, all right? So, but these are skill sets. It comes with experience. So for example, to give you an example, if you're a parent, let's say you're in your 40th or 50th decade of life, this will be easy for you all to understand. You can tell when someone is not telling you the truth, right? Especially if it's a child. You've seen that pattern before. So you have experience in life. You've seen things, right? You've been around the block, so to speak. Well, it's the same thing when you're dealing with lexicons. The more experience you get with them, the more you know the open enemy, as people popularly say now. The more you know them, based upon your experience examining their literature, you begin to see patterns, all right? So I'm able to see things, but my concern, I'm not talking about hocus pocus, spiritual magic. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, y'all. Spooky stuff. I'm talking about through analysis, right? Pattern recognition is all it is. Pattern recognition, all right? Knowing who you're dealing with, their character, and how they have done things in the past, and you can take a look at something and you can see those patterns. That's all I'm saying. All right. So my major concern is not to have the Ancient Ibaryath overshadowed by the mystery factor, the oohs and the ahs over astrotheology, cosmology, and the esoteric gospels. I hope I make myself clear. In fact, I really didn't want to bring this stuff out publicly, but just how that happened, I'll keep that to myself. But anyway, that's my concern. So let me get into the topic today. And I'll be saying something like this in every, if not most of the videos, depending on if I remember or not. All right. So we have a thunderstorm here, y'all. I've been catching it with these thunderstorms in Saigon lately. For those of you who haven't listened to me in a while, I'm back in Vietnam. I'm in Saigon right now. Man, and the storms have been not just a 15, 20-minute storm, but they've been hours. So a couple times I was actually stranded, couldn't get a taxi because the storms, well, that's how it is in Southeast Asia. Nobody really wants to drive when it's storming. So, I mean, I understand that. But anyway, another storm. This time it's about 9:30 in the morning here, somewhere around there, and it's storming already. But anyway, so is the Mitre, some Hebrew Israelites called the headdress a Mitre. The Catholic Church calls it a mitre. The spelling is M-I-T-R-E. Y'all check that on the internet to make sure, okay? So what I want, excuse me, what I would like for y'all to do is, as I talk, I would like for y'all to Google search the topic, okay? So I'll tell you what I would like for you to Google search, and just Google search it. So the Catholic Pope wears a mitre, M-I-T-R-E. So y'all go Google search M-I-T-R-E. Make sure that's the proper spelling. There are some Hebrew Israelite organization that wears a Mitre. That's how they pronounce it, Mitre, but the same spelling, to my understanding. Y'all Google search it, okay? The Catholic Pope, again, wears a mitre. It is in honor and veneration or worshipful of the Dagon or Dogon deity. I think the spelling is D-A-G-O-N. So y'all Google check the spelling, all right? So Google check that. And then Google search the Pope's mitre, okay? Or just Pope's mitre. Pope's mitre, Pope's Mitre, M-I-T-R-E. And you should get some images of the Pope wearing a mitre. All right, so what is the mitre? Okay, so you'll see a picture of the mitre similar to what the Pope wears in the video, the live stream rather, that I did yesterday. It was quite amazing, actually. I'm walking down the street, right? I had some issues that I had to handle early morning. So I'm walking down the street and I see this Buddhist ceremony taking place. I was really surprised because I've never seen it before. In one of my classes, the Saturday class, y'all, everybody's invited. Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come for free. Make sure you read the description, all right? So if you come for free, you get some free classes, but it's not long-term free, okay? It's not long-term free. The number of classes that you get for free are there, and you're welcome to come in and fully participate. There's no obligation to buy anything, no nothing, all right? You just come and you learn. You can meet the other scholars in the course and get a feel for it, for who they are, their personalities, the content, and our methodology. All right, so y'all come. It's an amazing offer, and there's really no reason why you shouldn't come. We go through Deuteronomy chapter 28 word for word from a literary perspective, non-religious, non-doctrinal. Okay, we don't deal with that at all whatsoever. All right, it's a purely academic experience, and everybody is respectful. It's fun. It's really, really fun. It's an eye-opener, trust me. All right. But anyway, I don't know, maybe it was a couple classes ago or something. Maybe 3, 4, 5. I don't remember. But we went over the Mitre, because we get on topics, and y'all know me. I jump from one thing to the other, depending on the nuances. Okay, depending on the nuances, right? You never know what direction the class will take depending on the nuances. There's so many nuances that we run into. In fact, when you deal with any language, well, let me stick to ancient Iber. When you deal with Ibaryath and you're dealing with etymology, you're dealing with nuances. Okay, so the way the language, let's talk about just verbs, okay? Well, let's talk generally. So there are roots and bases, all right, and other word forms. There are families of words, okay? And in this family, just like, let's say everybody in your family, they may share some physical features together. These family of words, they share some things in common. Like for instance, they have a common root, all right? But not only do they have a common root, they're also going to have a similar meaning. This is what we call nuances, all right? Nuances. So we're always dealing in nuances. And there's a lot of discovery that you can find just if you understand that concept, right? But anyway, without going any further into it than that, so we deal with nuances a lot. And that can take you places, depending on how religified you are, or let's say religified out. Depending on how religified out you are. If you're someone in Christianity and you've not experienced or you're unawares of the situation that you are presently in, this can cause cognitive dissonance for real, all right? But if you somehow, been fortunate enough to recognize there's something seriously wrong in Christianity and you need to get away from it, then it's more easy to deal with, right? So maybe you jumped out of Christianity into Hebrew Israelitism, into one of the camps, and so you start learning all of this stuff, right? And you say, wow, you think you got what they call in religion, you think that you got the truth, right? Now I was telling one of my religious friends, a Hebrew Israeliter, I won't name the camp that they're in, that this term truth in the Christian religion that I was in, they've been calling their religion the truth probably since the 1800s. And I was very shocked to find out that Hebrew Israelites called their doctrine the truth. I don't know if y'all see where I'm going or what I mean, but if you're using religious terminology, look at these fish. In Asia, these fish are good luck, if I understand right. That's why they like to have ponds. And near the place where I stayed, these people have this huge tank, and they have a fish that's probably about 5 feet, 6 feet. It costs about $10,000, and they keep it in this huge tank. And the reason for it, from what I'm told, is that fish brings good luck. Okay, so in Southeast Asia, at least, everything is luck and ancestors. So what does that have to do with what we're talking about? It has everything to do with what we're talking about right now. Okay, ancestors, that means what? People who have lived before you and whom you received your genome, your DNA from, right? So if you go back far enough into the book of Genesis, you'll find verses that talk about the Nephilim, right? The Nephilim. And these Nephilim are the offspring or children of so-called fallen angels right? Fallen angels, or just angels who had relations with women, and the women bore them children. They came out to be Nephilim, right? And then, of course, the Nephilim, they had their offspring also. And what does that have to do with what we're talking about now? Well, it has everything to do with what we're talking about now. Okay, it has everything to do with what we're talking about now. It's related to the Raphaim. All right, the Raphaim. Okay. But anyway, we'll get back to that. So I was talking about this in the class, the Raphaim. And that took us into a discussion about the Mitre and who the Raphaim are, right? Who they are. So we have heard about, most of us have heard about the Dogon deity, right? And the Pope wears the Mitre, and what that Mitre signifies is Dogon worship, Dogon veneration, Dogon worship. And you also note that Catholicism, and organizations like JW, they're heavily into Egyptology, Catholicism, and Catholicism or Catholic type of organizations, right? For example, the Freemasons and other secret societies, they are involved in Egyptology, right? In Egyptology and pyramidology. Okay, so this has everything to do with what we're talking about right now. Okay, with the Raphaim, Dogon worship, Nephilim, and Mitre, and the Mitre headdress, all right? So, what's the relationship? What is the relationship? Let me say this at the outset. Neither Zion Law School nor me, I am Dr. Yasapa, has any interest in telling you what to believe, all right? The same way you go and take a college course, undergrad or graduate, you take that course and you are presented with information, okay? The college, neither the college nor the university, in most cases, have any interest in what you believe, all right? These are called simply frameworks or schools of thought, okay? So Zion Law School is not a religious organization trying to build followers and gain membership and do all the things that religions do. Okay, that's not what we do. So let me clarify that. The information I'm presenting is for your education, not for your entertainment, for your education. All right? Now, if you enjoy it, that's great. But this is education. If I can make it interesting and entertaining, I will. But I'm not going to put entertaining you over education, all right? So you can take it or you can leave it, right? Do with it what you will. I'm giving you the information, all right? So I'm not trying to, like I was mentioning, one of my religious friends always tells me, oh, well, you're trying to convince people to believe what you believe, right? And that's simply not true. I'm not married to anything, because when the facts change or the evidence changes, then the intelligent man or womb man should be able to make the change based upon evidence, right? That they have analyzed and come to conclusions on their own. All right, this is intelligence. Okay, intelligence, thinking for yourself. Anyway, so think for yourself. All right, think for yourself. Do your own analysis. I'll give you the information, and it's up to you to use your intelligent brain, your mind. All right. So, all right. Now that that's clear, I forgot where I was going. The relationship between the Dogon, the Raphaim, those organizations that are wearing the headdress. So what's it all about? I think that's where I was going. I don't remember. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. I think I remember. So the Catholic Church, these secret societies, and all of these organizations, they're involved in Egyptology, pyramidology, mathematics, astrology, and I'm not talking about the zodiac that you read in the newspaper. All right. I'm talking about the real science. Okay. The real science of it. All right. Not spookism. And by the way, do y'all know that if you put pressure on crystals, it'll create. Hi. It's okay. It'll create electro. Little boys, children are so much fun. Where was I, y'all? I lost my thought. A little boy almost squirted his water gun on me and the camera. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so these organizations are involved in studying nature. This is what I'm saying, nature. All right. So when you hear, well, at least when I talk pyramidology, I'm not talking about spookism. I'm talking about the geometry of it, the geometry, right? The shapes, the mathematics, the geology. They had to have a profound understanding of the earth, right? Not just soil and rocks, but how water flows underground. You know, this is a field of engineering, right? What type of forces are generated, the electromagnetism, the chemistry of it, all of it. This is there's a whole lot to learn, y'all, about on this topic. And then, of course, there's oceanography, right? There's astrology, right? The mathematics of the heavens, the stars, right? There are the maybe the stars even have a I don't know, whatever type of electrochemical or otherwise type of energies or forces that are created or present, whether we can perceive them with our senses and equipment or not, right? It's the study of these things, natural law. So what I'm trying to say is that these organizations are profoundly interested in learning what laws govern nature. So this is how you produce an airplane. That's how you can produce a toy water gun. That's how you can produce plastics, materials for clothing. Okay, even a simple glass. So you need a knowledge of nature to do that, right? All right. Even farming, you need a knowledge of not only soil and water and agriculture and weather and climate, but also of what? Of astrology or what? Cosmology. So you have to know these things just to be able to do something like that. But anyway, my point is this. The Pope, you can Google search this. In fact, I like for y'all to Google search it now. Google search the Pope's Mitre. Also Google search the Pope and Dogon or Dagon worship. I believe it's Dagon. Y'all Google search that. All right. Google search the Dagon, and you're gonna find it's wearing it's a half man, half fish, right? And you'll see a mitre or mitre. You'll see a mitre or mitre. So I was discussing this with the class several classes ago, 3, 4, 5 classes ago, we went over this. All right. So this is Dagon. Now, those of you who have followed the astrotheology video series that I did on the Devil's Pulpit, written by Reverend Robert Taylor, what you're going to find in the video that I did, in fact, you all who are interested enough, go back and watch those videos, skim through the book, look for, there are some pages that talk about a deity named Oannes or Oannes, O-A-N-N-E-S, O-A-N-N-E-S. All right, so y'all go into the Devil's Pulpit. The link is right there, and then read up on that and what it's going to tell you. And then also Google search Oannes, O-A-N-N-E-S, the Babylonian deity or Babylonian god, and click on Britannica. All right, compare what you read in the Encyclopedia Britannica with what you read in the Devil's Pulpit. Now you have to do this yourself. Don't listen to me and just accept it. Go, because I'm not giving you all of the details, right? I'm giving you information so you can go and do it yourself. The details are very important, right? The details are very important. So in the Devil's Pulpit, what you're going to find is that Oannes is a Babylonian deity who lives in the sea. Who lives in the sea. I forgot the name of the sea near Babylon. But y'all can get the details when you read it yourself. Who lives in the sea. He comes out of the water looking like a man wearing a fish costume. Y'all heard? Got it? His appearance is a man in a fish costume. All right? His appearance is a man in a fish costume. In other words, he's a half man, half fish deity. He comes out of the sea, out of the ocean during the day, and he teaches people, he teaches the Babylonians architecture, mathematics, astrology / cosmology, same thing, right? Cosmology, civics, engineering, etc., etc., etc. So one of the comments that I made when I presented this chapter in the Devil's Pulpit is that what's being presented by Oannes, these are topics what? This is natural law. Right? And this is what this is what is being taught in the secret societies while you're being taught religion. You cannot build a jet airplane based upon religious doctrine. You can't build an automobile or even a motorcycle using religious doctrine. Y'all follow me? This is one reason why you're being ruled over and dominated. Because you don't understand natural law. You didn't even understand natural phenomena. Do you think it's just a coincidence that they've completely removed you from nature? That the educational system is completely dogmatic? You learn absolutely nothing about nature? When you take some basic mathematics, you don't know anything about nature. Doesn't that tell you why people like engineers are paid so well? Why? Because they're studying nature, real world stuff. That if you want to build something, if you want to live in a civilized society, you need to be able to build, to make things. But yet, you and the vast majority of Genesis chapter 2 men and women can't build anything. You're consumers, and they got you just where they want you. You understand? You see why? You're dependent. And in a religious mindset, while they learn advanced sciences. All right? In other words, they're the builders and you are the consumer. So their attitude toward you is shut up and sit down. All right? So this takes us into how is it that, let's say, the Dogon tribe or whatever they're called in Africa has knowledge of such vast knowledge of the cosmos. Where did they get it? Etc., 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 etc. Right? So now remember, when we first started this video, I mentioned that the angels, or the fallen angels, had relations with women. And so these are hybrids, right? These are half angelic or half alien, however you want to call it, whatever your point of view is, and half human. Okay? And then their generations, they had offspring. Okay? And the way it appears when you look at the verses dealing with Raphaim, it appears that they, well, let me rephrase that. Raphaim can live in the ocean. And you'll get that in scripture. All right? You can get that in the scripture. They live in the seas, in the oceans, but they can come out. They can come out. They can exit out. Some people are calling them the Anunnaki. Okay? But I don't get into all of that stuff. You know, knowing what I'm presenting now is enough for me because that's not my area of interest. Some people say that the Raphaim, or let me repeat that. Some people say that these Dogon deities are actually Anunnaki, and they come out of the water. So Zion Law School scholars correlate this with Genesis chapter 1, the first 3 or 4 verses. So you make your correlation, all right? For those of you who may not understand what I'm talking about, watch the video that I did on Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2, all right? and you'll get a, you know what I'm talking about there. All right, so make your correlation, Zion Law School scholars. All right. So now the Oannes would come out of the ocean and educate the people, teach them civics, all of the natural sciences, right? So might this be the hidden, the occult, content taught in the Egyptian mystery system, in the Babylonian mystery system, in the Moorish mystery systems before they went bad, right? And presently taught in Freemasonry, etc. All right, I'm not talking about the rituals, okay? I'm not talking about the corruption of it. I'm talking about the educational aspect, dealing with natural law, right? So if you want to conquer people, we'll look at this like a something everybody can relate to. There's a lot of men, I guess women too, if they want to dominate their mate, what are they going to do in many cases? They're going to make the mate dependent on them, right? Refuse the mate to be able to have a job, right? So that she can do whatever they want, when they want, be independent, financially independent. Or if the mate has a decent paying job, they're going to try to mess it up so that they lose their job, right? Or try to do everything they can to make sure that if they do have a job, it's not going to pay well enough for them to be able to be independent and live on their own without them, okay? They're going to do whatever it takes to keep their mate in a dependent state, okay? And that's going to come quite often with emotional and physical abuse and with fear, right? Well, it's the same thing, same situation today with the corporations and the political powers who have all owed their existence to what? The Roman Catholic Church, right? For those of y'all who know about this topic, the Roman Catholic Trust, the trust that they set up, the U.S. Corporation, of course, then there's what? Unum Sanctum, right? All the papal bulls that the Pope is saying that he is a representative of JC, the Christ figure on earth. Therefore, because the Christ figure is not here, the Pope is here to manage all of the earth, the land, the resources, everything. Whatever's living, man, woman, beast, whatever's being born, man, woman, beast, it is the property of the Pope, all right? And they created a trust, all right? A written document to that effect. Okay? But anyway, so all of these corporations and nation states are owned and ultimately controlled by the Catholic Church, and religion is not separated from the state. There's no such thing as the separation of church and state when you look at it practically. Looks good on paper, but practically it's not that way. All right, it's just not true. Okay? Never has been. and never will be. So you look at the design of a lot of the Moorish megastructures before they were taken over and converted into Catholic churches or cathedrals. They're all designed based upon what? Cosmology, right? Cosmology or astrology, and also with the energy fields on the Earth's surface. Okay, so they had a profound knowledge of earth sciences, profound knowledge of cosmology, absolutely profound. Okay? Profound. And then when the conquest occurred, those megalithic structures were under new ownership, the Catholic Church. Okay. They're still respecting natural law. Right? They're still respecting the natural law. Y'all notice that they didn't destroy those structures, right? They didn't destroy the cathedrals. Just why? Who knows? They destroyed everything else. But why didn't they destroy all of these megalithic structures that are reflecting astrology, cosmology on Earth? You have to ask yourself why. But that's where your critical questions come in. You generate those critical questions. You come up with those answers, right? Based upon your research. Or sit in silence. Okay? Do your own analysis. Sit in silence and see what you come up with. All right? I don't know everything, and that's for sure. Again, it's up to you. It is up to you. So these megalithic structures remain with the astrology all up in it. Now the Catholics added statues, right? Deities. They've added their own deities, like these Greek deities. They're nothing more than a remix of deities that are more ancient. Okay? Deities that are more ancient. It's just a remix. Give them a different name. Give their siblings different names. Maybe they add a little bit to their biography, or change the places and the time. Just a plagiarism. Okay? A cheap plagiarism. All right, y'all. So who are these deities? Were they in fact Nephilim and Raphaim, and when they physically lived on the earth, and when they expired, their physical body expired, did they go into the ocean? Right? And then they're able to come out with as Oannes does, right? Or did. The Babylonian deity comes out of the water and he educates the people. All right? Y'all hear me? So the Mitre, or the Mitre headdress, the Mitre hat that you see the Pope wearing, I think some of the cardinals wear it, I don't know, but the Pope definitely wears it, right? That the The Buddhist priest we saw wearing a mitre. The Pope's mitre is big. It's tall. It is the mouth or the head of the fish mouth, the open fish mouth, all right, the head of the fish. This is what the mitre or mitre is, okay? So the mitre or mitre that you saw in the video that I did yesterday about Buddhist priest, or Buddhism and the mitre or the mitre, was a smaller version. It was a tall version, but a smaller version of, no thank you, of the, those are lottery tickets that they're selling. I wonder if anybody ever wins. Each ticket costs about, I think, $1 or maybe 90 cents, 95 cents, something like that. So the Mitre headdress you saw in the video, his was tall, but thinner, and of the Catholic Church mitre, right? Now, I mentioned there's a Hebrew Israelite organization, I won't say their name, they're also wearing a mitre. And it's short, right? And it's actually a wrap rather than a hat. But it still has the fish mouth opening, okay? It still has the fish mouth opening. So that's a small version of the taller version of the Mitre mitre in Catholicism and Buddhism, yet it is, they even call it a Mitre, so I'm not making it up. Y'all go check it out yourself. So I'm not making anything up. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or anything like that. This is about the Mitre, all right? It's about the Mitre. Okay. Now, y'all can Google search Dogon and Mitre, all right? The Catholic Pope. I hope you've already done that. If you haven't done that, Google search Pope and Mitre, right? Google search Dogon, and you can find out about the significance of the Mitre or mitre, why the Pope is wearing it. And I was very surprised to see the Buddhist priest wearing it, but at the same time I wasn't, because in my opinion, my world travels, seeing the images. Anybody who says Buddhism is not a major religion, I think they need to think again. Anybody who says that Hinduism is not a major religion, I think they need to think again. Because the population in Asia, you're talking billions and billions of people who are Buddhist and who are following Hinduism. Y'all hear me? So how can that not be a major religion? It's very Eurocentric to say that Christianity, Catholicism, and Islam are the three major religions. No, I don't think so at all. All right? Not at all. You have to include Buddhism. So I was talking to a friend of mine here in Vietnam. I asked a question. What is Buddhism? Do you all have a deity? Because, I want to get clarity. So I found that you really can't believe everything that you read in a book. You just can't believe it. Also, yeah, you really can't believe it, y'all. See, I always talk about that these people who are in power, they're magicians, they're word magicians. Their words are magic. Their videos, movies, these are magic or magical. Okay, y'all? Magical. Why? Because it takes your mind to a different place, right? It takes you to a different place, captures your imagination, and then they take you where they want to take you. All right? And if you deny that, and if you deny that you're influenced by movies, the images, the capturing, or the delivering, the giving away of your imagination to these movie makers, to the entertainment industry, the music industry, you give them access and control. You freely, you consent to it. Every time you turn it on, that's consent to letting them take you someplace mentally and do what? Program you. It's right in the word, television. Tell a vision, television to you, to program you. Ultimately, to control your perception and to limit you. Cafe? Black cafe? Black cafe?
Cafe.
Yeah, black cafe. One more. Yeah. Right? See, this is why you don't know your power. That's why you don't know your power. You've given it up. And you've given up your children by sending them to public schools to be programmed. All right? To be disempowered, to be hypnotized, to be less than what they naturally are, and to have absolutely no awareness of their innate abilities and power, because you are doing the same thing your parents did without thinking about it. You're indifferent toward yourself, and therefore you're indifferent toward your seed. So now you have a vicious cycle of dependency and not knowing who you are, and being completely detached from nature, meaning that you are completely helpless and dependent on a group of people who want to genocide you and enslave you. Oh, thank you. And enslave you. All right? So I don't know why the Hebrew Israelite organization wears a mitre. I never talked to them about it. And it's really not my business, because I don't evangelize, and I definitely don't have a role in saying who's right and who's wrong amongst Hebrew Israelites. That's not my position, and nor do I want it to be. You can ask them if you're curious. All right? I'm not curious about it. Okay? It is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. So the issue of mitre. So I was talking to my religious Hebrew Israelite friend, right? And we have some pretty good conversations. But every time I finish those conversations, I always say to myself, man, I'm so glad I'm not in religion anymore. You know? But of course, that person thinks I'm off too, so. So there is a debate, or not debate, let me rephrase that. There is different point of views on whether the scripture, the word that's being rendered as mitre should be better translated, or is more appropriately translated as a turban. Okay, as a turban. Now I've seen Hebrew Israelites wear headdress that has a circular opening in the center. a circular opening in the center. And I've only seen one Hebrew Israelite group that has the fish mouth opening in the center, which is a Mitre. All right. So y'all can Google search that, and you can make a decision based on, decide for yourself. Is that word better translated as Mitre? Or is that word better translated as turban? Or is it better translated as something else? You decide. Okay? You decide. If you don't have a clue where to start, subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. That's our streaming Ancient Ibaryath course. It's available 24/7. You can learn the fundamentals of Ancient Ibaryath at home or at work, on your coffee break, on your lunch break, right? Wherever you are. It's streaming, okay? It's 113 video lessons. There's no doctrine in it. You're going to see some relationships, correlations. You're going to make a lot of connections, and you're going to learn the basics, right? The basics. It is a comprehensive, intensively comprehensive, let me put it like that, introductory course, all right? You don't need to know biblical Hebrew or modern Hebrew or anything like that, okay? It's designed so that our people can jump right in with the understanding that most of us during the educational system already don't have adequate reading skills and reading comprehension skills, all right, y'all? So just jump right in. Go, and I've made it all as free as almost free can get. It's $10 per month. There's no contract. All right, so y'all go do that. And then you decide, okay? Don't give your power away to someone to teach you. You have to begin to teach yourself, right? You have to learn how to be responsible for educating yourself. So this is a good way to start. Ancient Ibaryath is our heritage, so reclaim it, right? And reclaim it now. All right, so you go learn those basic skills, and then you make a decision for yourself. You're also invited to come to our Saturday 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time class, right? And you can see demonstrations as to how we use the skills that are presented in the streaming 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. You can see how we use it as translators, right? Okay. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself, right? So I strongly, let me rephrase that. I urge, you haven't already subscribe now, all right? You're not going to find any religion in it. There's no religion, all right? So don't worry about any conflicts with your doctrine. You will find facts and you will find evidence, right? But there's no doctrine being pushed. Okay? All right, so next question. Well, no, not next question. So that begs the question. What's up with this? Right? What's up with this? Is the Mitre part of our heritage? Right? Meaning, is it part of our culture? Or is it not? Is it a Jeremiah 8:8 occurrence, an insertion? Or is it not? Right? That's the point of this. That's the point of it. Okay? And I'm going to leave that up to you to decide. All right? I've given you information. Go back and read about the deity Oannes or Oannes. I don't know how to pronounce it. You can find it in the Devil's Pulpit. Take the time to search the pages because I don't remember the chapter. Right? But it's there. Okay? The Babylonian fish god who came out of the sea every day to teach the people. You can also find that topic in the Encyclopedia Britannica, but it's not as specific, if I recall correctly, as the description that you'll get in the Devil's Pulpit. But either way, read them both. Read them both. All right? And if you want to take it further, take it further. Go back and watch the video that I did where I discussed, I read the whole Devil's Pulpit, gave commentary when I thought appropriate. So go back and watch that video, right? Research the Pope, the Mitre hat, research Dogon worship. See, all of this stuff is there. Maybe you just never linked it together. All right? And you can search in your Bibles about the Raphaim. All right? And I strongly suggest you read the footnotes. Right? Because I think most of the versions, they don't use the term Raphaim. They use something like the dead. The dead are in the ocean or something like that. So you gotta read the footnote, all right? And you gotta put two and two together. Okay? So what does this mean? It means that you have to develop the habit and the discipline of reading. And then comprehension is a skill that you develop along with that, all right? So a lot of people they'll read a paragraph or a chapter and they pronounce the words, they can speak it out loud or they read it silently, but they don't understand anything that they read. So if that's your situation, that means your reading comprehension is inadequate. You need to develop your reading comprehension skills, all right? So the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course can help you do that powerfully, but you have to study, right? You have to study. So Jeremiah 8:8, I prefer the Amplified Bible version of Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. How can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us? Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about? So go and read Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. All right? Go and read that. And then filter what you read through Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. And make your conclusion. All right? Very easy. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Appreciate you joining me. Like and share the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'll be doing some international travel within the next day or two. So if y'all want to support my travels, feel free to do so. I wonder why the fish stand still like this in front of each other. Right? And it's amazing that they can just like stand here and hover, right? I wonder what they're doing. They all made a decision to just stand here instead of moving. Okay? I wonder what they're doing. But anyway, if y'all want to support my travels, if you want to support the research that I do, all of this stuff, y'all, takes time, effort, and energy and discipline. I guess if it didn't, more people would be doing it. Oh, look at these. See, they're all standing still. I wonder why. Y'all see? Why are they all standing here? But I think they're gonna run because the vibration, my voice is vibrating. Yeah, you see the other ones, they left. And I'm disturbing them. Let me move away. Yeah, let me move away. But anyway, y'all, so yeah, y'all see that? They hear my voice, the vibration goes through the water and they run. All right. Okay. So yeah. So if you like the way I teach, if you like my style, my presentation, if you think that the content is important, not just for you, or let's say even if it's only for you or for everyone, remember this is for the indigenous peoples, right? Genesis chapter 2 people, all of the Moors, all of the Moors, all of the families of nations that if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the videos that I did about the Moors being the I don't remember the title, something like the Moors are the quote unquote gods on earth, the rightful heirs, or something like that. But y'all go back and watch that. All right. So this is for us. This is not for hybrids. This information is not for hybrids. All right. This is for Genesis chapter 2, men and women. All right. So if you think this message is important, consider supporting. All right. You can do one time Cash App, or you can do recurring donation or investment. I think recurring, you have to do that on PayPal. But our PayPal is paypal.me/Zion Law School. Or if you ask me what I prefer you buy our books so that you can educate yourself and give copies to friends and family. All right, so there are 7 books that I've written and we publish. The links are in the description area of this video. Okay, so you can support us that way. You can also support us by subscribing to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath class and showing up for free on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a form of moral support. Let us see that you are interested, all right, in reclaiming your heritage. That's also a form of support, okay? So I think if y'all look at our subscribers, the number of likes and everything, I think it's pretty clear that YouTube shadow bans us. And eventually maybe I'll do it this weekend since I have to travel, set up a new channel to try to get over this hump. But I have to hire somebody to help me, y'all, because I just can't do it all on my own. You know, it's becoming too much for me. But if y'all want to help me with doing that, that would be great. I need a social media person to help me. The only way you can get somebody reliable is to pay them, right? But anyway, like I said, what I'm presenting is not for most people because it's too much. This is what I've been told. It's too much for most people. You have to be in a certain place. You have to be in a certain place. For example, people who are into Hebrew Israelitism are not going to be so interested in this content. People support what they want to hear. And most of our people want to hear New Testament. And they want to hear prophecies. Right? They want to hear New Testament and prophecies. In fact, if y'all think about this, well, that gets us into another topic. Maybe I'll talk about that another day. So most of our people don't want to hear what I have to say when I start getting into the nuts and bolts of the Ibaryath, right? But there are some of us who want to hear it. These are people who get to the point where they say, well, you know what? Hebrew Israelitism is just like Christianity or worse, right? Now, I know some religious Hebrew Israelites they've said that it's actually worse than in Christianity. Because in Christianity, at least you have some camaraderie and support system. But Hebrew Israelite, you won't find that. I don't know if that's true. But once a person gets to the point where they realize that something is seriously wrong with Hebrew Israelitism, and they begin to question that, then at that point, their mind is willing to consider the findings that you get when you look at the documents' literal meaning as discovered through the Ancient Ibaryath. Y'all follow me? Otherwise, there's too much cognitive dissonance. It's too far away. And most people, like I said, they only want to support what they want to hear, which is a version of prophecy and some version of the New Testament, right? Whatever doctrine, or some version of that. Anyway, I'm Dr. DrYasapa from Zion Law School. Thanks for spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, but more than that, I hope you learned something. All right, the conclusions that you reach are not important to me. What's important to me is not just getting the information to you, but you actually going through the process of critical thinking and analysis. All right, because those skills are transferable regardless of what you decide to accept. Do your best to stay away from belief. Do your best to stay away from belief and in knowing. All right? Make your best efforts to do that. I'm Dr. DrYasapa, Islam to all of the Moors, and Shalawama.